Hello everyone and welcome back to this funny channel. Today we'll be casting another SDL League game. Uh, this is the second game actually. The first game between Hasta La Vista and me, I decided not to cast. I'll just give you a brief in like 15 seconds. He picked Berlin Command on Vertigo and I picked 4E and I was like confused for the first 10 minutes like what he even wanted to do because it was him who picked Vertigo. And then I was playing like garbage. And after I got a hold of myself and realizing that he's literally just playing normally. I just got my shit together and beat him up because I'm better division and he's Berlin Command on fucking Vertigo. And it's basically like a 40 minutes log that I really don't feel like casting because I think it's like literally worth your or my time to watch. No offense to Pasta or anyone else, I actually just don't feel like casting that 40 minute slogfest where honestly nothing special happened. And I didn't make a promise to cast all of the games like I did for the Flub HQ tournament. That I actually passed the group stage and I'm like waiting for everyone else to finish their games. Should be like rather soon where I play the other games, so I'll be casting that. Uh, anyway, so this is the second game. And after the first Vertigo game, I basically had a choice. I was the one picking the map, and I was the one with the counter pick of the division. So I chose Airport because I know Mr. Pasta La Vista basically plays Berlin Command, and this is the worst map for Berlin Command, even worse than Vertigo. I leave Berlin Command open, very obviously, and then he picks 40, which is fine. I have the counter pick. 40 is hilariously good right now, but it's not unbeatable. Uh, I mean, Skific had literally a 100 win, 0 losses run with it. You can check it on the leaderboard with the 180 games, but that's about it. Dev is hilariously good. I can talk a bit about it. But let's first go over my deployment. So I am literally expecting like 8 of these guys running around the entire map. Thankfully, he only deployed like 5. Imagine if he deployed 8. This is the most broken recon vehicle unit in the game. And you may look at it and you're like, but wait, this is literally a scimitar. This is 55 points for a tracked transport, which has like 55 points and everything. But a very big difference is first, Scimitar has 3 armor, this is 1. And Eugen might look at this and like, oh my god, 3 armor. That's actually so worth it. But it's literally the most irrelevant thing ever, honestly, especially if you're like good at microing it. And this is actually the thing that matters the most is the optics. Is the very good optics that this bullshit little thing has. And because this bullshit little thing has a very good optics, it means it can spot any infantry building that isn't a recon unit in a building at the range of 1,200 meters. Same thing goes for forests, of course, right? So it can spot for itself and it can kill anything. So it can kill an ATGM, it can kill a Meti squad, it can kill you can kill literally anything, a dragon squad, whatever you put in a building, it's gonna be able to spot it. And the only way you can deal with this is like an ATGM, a really well placed one where he can't like come close. But that's why you pair them up. So one smokes and the other one keeps pushing, and then he smokes, and then you play a little cat and mouse game, and then you get rid of the TTGM, and then you keep going forward. Uh, and what was I wanna say? Yeah, very good optics. Just cleans you out of everywhere. You can get 8 of them, and they cost 55 points. So you can deploy 2 cards of them for 440 points, and then still be left with a blob of 1,000 points to put somewhere. So. Fori has a ridiculously strong opener because of this. And the autocannon is of course better than the Rarder, and this is the best autocannon in the game by far. The reload time being 0.25 seconds smaller than the 30mm actually helps it quite a lot. And the 4-pen is so hilariously good, it can win literally autocannon 1v1s quite reliably if it's well placed. So as I said, I literally thought there was going to just be running around everywhere. So I kind of deploy accordingly. So it's we have 2 Razorka BMP2s going here. I did expect the main push to come here. So 2 Razorka BMP2s, 1 Conquers, 1 Igla, just if he decides to be really brave with his recon choppers, but nothing else, and 1 Bearding Conquers. And at the same time, I do an MI8 here, and then just reposition it here, basically to check if he's gonna have some MO13 blob, because I was expecting like 3 here, 3 here, maybe 2 to go into my backline and everything, right? Thankfully, Mr. Pasta was kind enough not to do it. Double coup here just for, any bombers or any funny airplay. One MI24 here, because as I said, I'm expecting a bomb rush of like 3 or 4 here, so I wanted to stop it here and then reposition it here. It's actually a pretty bad idea to buy helicopter as a response to these guys, but if you have a helicopter in place, it can actually do quite a lot of work. But if you know they're already in your backline and you're buying a helicopter to deal with them, you're doing like the MO13 series a favor, because look at this anti-helo range. This is a bit insane, no? Like, what is the BMP2 anti-helo range? It's the same. Okay, whatever. I'm eating too much shit. I thought it was longer a little bit, but it wasn't. This definitely needs a fucking nerf. Anti-heal range. Hilarious. So two conquersses going here and here. Basically just to stop any push. This is a pretty nice spot because it cuts both of these roads and it cuts this here. Obviously, wanted to push it up a tiny bit here, so I can contest this point. But this is a pretty good spot for the opener. Rather conservative, but that's what I want. As you can see, it's a pretty conservative deployment for me. So going on to my opponent, he decided to copy Kryjev a little bit. Not Kryjev, holy shit, Skifik. Skifik is the number one guy currently, and he has a small push on the side that's meant to distract me while his main blob of 10 gazillion points and cost-effective units marches down one lane. And his side push is basically two Vulcaners, one going here, it's not gonna make it there, and one going here, he's gonna make it there, and two CVs, one here and one here. So which is why I have the BMPs to confront them. Then he has three CVs and everything, and two guys going here, one genie work as well. This is also hilariously underpriced for 75 points with the MO13 Vulcaner. Just a hilariously cost-effective opener. Like, at least 79 can deploy recon BMP2s, but at least it's expensive, man. Like, it's expensive to deploy Spetsnaz GRU and Razaka BMP2, and then if you want some Razaka Saperi, but this is just so cheap and so cost-effective, it's not even funny. So a bunch of shit going here to try and stop me from just bomb rushing this point, which is fair enough, but that wasn't my plan. And then he has a blob of a Leo 2A4C and two EPRs, two Cheetah, and this, and a Workerner, of course, to provide recon here. So I guess his point is just to cause chaos on the map. So we're gonna see how that's gonna go. He opens a really cheap fighter as well. Probably to deal with my recon helos. Gonna see how that's gonna end for him. He notices the recon helo and hits it, but and then the could miss. Then I'm supposed to get it out, land, blah blah blah. He is out of missiles. He did fire 2 missiles. That was pretty interesting. So he does get it, and the cubes hit both times. This thing doesn't have great ECM. Didn't really pay for itself, but it did get rid of the MI8, so I still don't know where his main blob is. I see that all of this is happening. This Beardian 2 Conquers is an interesting spot that is trying to get this Workerner, and it's gonna hit, but too late. So I think this Pastas Guru is gonna notice this Leopard 2A4, so I will know that the main blob is going down here, and there's like 3 CVs and a Workerner here, so this Pastas Guru is just gonna have to pull out. And this Pastas is going to have to pull out. This Workerner is almost killed though. And this Workerner is in a pretty bad spot. So I'm pushing, the Beardian Conquers here and the Rezarka BMP2 here. Defensive positions, and he can't see them, just yet. He is trying to, to sell towards it, but I'm going to be able to take care of this. Basically, this isn't scary, and this push is scary though. This M24, got caught off guard, but it did kill one EPR. And these cheetahs keep pushing up to deal with the Conquerors, but there's another Conquerors just going for the side shot. He smokes it, but one cheetah goes down. Holy shit, I can zoom out. So yeah, this one can think. He keeps buying Leopard 2A4s and EPRs, which is fair enough, and I keep buying BMP2s because I want to keep him on the standoff range. This Vessel's Grew is getting really battered, and as you can see, if you micro this M113 Blob really well with smoke and everything, ATGMs can't really deal with it, right? Which is why I need to blob them. That's when they're the most cost effective. The Conqueror decides to do the smart thing and target the EPR here, which he isn't microing. So that's great, but he has cleared me completely out of here. And even though this push is momentarily stopped, I think that if he had like the M13s here, like he could have just broken through completely, but thankfully he doesn't. Because I noticed that I cleared everything here, I just moved my BMP2s and BRDMs all the way to here to contain the push, because I could have swinged around here, but I am more concerned with containing the push here. There will be troops that are going to be crossing over here later, because he didn't secure any of it. Another MI8 up just to notice the blob, and if I have sight on the blob, that means the cluster is going up, because I know I destroyed one cheetah. I was like, it pops in and out of sight and everything. Because I know I destroyed one cheetah. I was kind of gambling that he wasn't gonna have an Nighthawk, and he didn't. So one Leopard 2A4 dies. One of the reasons why I picked 79 versus this is the 79 is hilariously good versus Nito tank matchups. It can struggle into like 27th and everything because of the BMPs, but like the cluster 2 is just so good versus your enemy's heavy tanks. So you can keep them on standoff range with the IZD that I just called up. And all the ATGMs and everything, that you will win the game eventually. And if an enemy, brings up a heavy tank and puts it in an exposed position like he did here, it's gonna eat a cluster to the face. He also has a cluster, right? But that one dives and is a lot more prone to being killed by AA, while this is a high one, and it has 8 bombs, so it's pretty hard to fucking dodge unless you're like really good on micring it. Anyway, as I said, I decided that I'm gonna swing around, and then I see this TOW2 and I'm scared for my life. I am gonna micro this BMP2 rather well. There is nothing to stop me except this TOW2, right? So I will be like, auto cannon out of range, then he fires, then I go back into the smoke and everything, just the standard bullshit play. He buys an HE bomber, trying to get rid of whatever. We're gonna see what he tries to get rid of. This BMP2 puts his mark on the BMP2 too late, and then the Cube does its job. BMP2s just keep clearing him out. This Leopard 4 is completely out of position, and because I know that he doesn't have an Nighthawk, there's gonna be another cluster by. It does have a rather longish reload rate, but if you can kill a heavy tank, the tempo you're gonna gain is hilariously good. So I just drop the bombs, and then he stops trying to dodge it, go back, and then it just the cluster splash kills it. This Motostocky BMP also side shot it, which was really good. So two heavy tanks done for him. And his push basically grounded to a halt, while I am contesting his. This TOW2 is being ran over, and he keeps buying heavy tanks, he keeps buying IFVs, he keeps committing to this push. And at this point, this is completely stabilized. There's not much he can do. These BMPs are keeping the Leotards at standoff range, and everything is fine. Trank's broken here, sadly. Motres Zverka in a hilariously good position. I don't think I ever noticed this. I might. I mean, as you can see, like I'm blobbing up with my BMPs and T80s. Everything is fine as it should be. Extremely greedy of pasta to like not respect the clusters and like still not to keep buying heavy tanks while not having a Nighthawk. Like one of the rare weaknesses of this division is that it doesn't have like a long range, fighter jet that can try and scare away or at least trade down my cluster 2. So he keeps buying heavy tanks. He keeps blobbing heavy tanks up, but I don't think that's the play here. This returner here, I have to pull back the Rezeka BMP2, which finally repaired its tracks after one whole minute. This returner misses 2 shots, which is, always a skill issue. What can you do? So when I notice that, this blob here is basically completely wound down and can push, I just move my BMPs and T80s up here. Basically, buying all anti-infantry bullshit to try and stabilize this. This Panzer Flaw is gonna kill this Motostrelki that I was just pushing up for no reason. More BMP2s, more Conquerors, this is still a pretty nice position if he ever wants to push some fire support here. This building is really good, you can kind of dance around these 2 buildings and use it. So he keeps buying Leopard 2A4s, 4 of them on the map, and still no iHook to be seen. Not even like more Gepards or Stingers or anything that can like try and get a revenge kill, let alone stop the blob. So more BMPs, another cube because I brought out a heavy tank and I don't trust 2 cubes that are vetted up by a CV to hit, even though it's like 55% accuracy. Because I did alter my deck a bit. I don't usually take vetted up cubes, but now I do. Because, you don't need doses in this matchup at all. There are helicopters to kill, except the recon ones that he may or may not take. So 440 points now. I could, in theory, just sit back and, relax and sit on my ass the whole game, but I do have the initiative and I do want to get back into this point. There's no reason not to. So this is because I noticed that he has absolutely nothing here. I'm just going to move this Pastel's Glue and the Beard and Conquers into this to try and cut off the reinforcement road. F-16 cluster finally, for the tank. If I noticed it a bit earlier, I could have, smoked microdit and everything, but it was too late. I decided to not even try it. My cubes decide to miss, right? But what can you do? Another Su-24 cluster going for this, and for some reason he stops and then tries to turn back, and that means he loses a tank, and another one gets killed. The MiG-27K bought it because I noticed a lot of Gepards, kills the Cheetah, and as I said, the T-80 goes down, and the cubes are not enough to stop it. Sadly, it goes back. If he kept going, he could have only had like 2 of these damaged, basically. Basically, if you see like a high-rise cluster drop, you should just keep pushing your tank up. Same thing goes with the cluster mortar. Like if you're like sitting here and the cluster mortar is clustering you, you should just go forward instead of trying to go back. Just keep the fucking momentum. As you can see, this M13 CV just spots the Bearding Conquers here and kills it. Thankfully, this Conquers here is able to get the side shot. And his Blob of Leopard 2A4s is finally here, and I am out of heavy tanks, so I can only hold him off with BMP2s until some of my tanks arrive. There is nothing here though, so then basically nothing here. So I will decide to probe here. I wanted to like probe into this point because I know he has a lot of heavy tanks, because there's like literally no way he has anything here outside of this one infantry. So these Leopard 2-4s will trade down my BMP2s and infantry. Well, not much, BMP2s can do. Another, really nasty thing about Leopard 2-4s is that they have 21 pen, right? And pen is the king when it comes to tanks and even fighting IFVs, right? It can this can one-shot 3 armor IFVs, and as you know, BMP2 has 4 armor, so it won't get one shot. But if he does get a bit closer to 2100 meter range, it will get one shot. So yeah, as I said, I will clear out this one, and then I will YOLO my ass down here. Because I was 100% sure he was literally nothing, because he has so many heavy tanks on. Still no iHawk from him, and instead of buying the iHawk, he buys the M110. Big mistake. Because he may have thought that, he contained my push here, he's kind of sitting here, that he can bring out an RTPs, but he can't. The game is not stable at all, even though 13 minutes passed, and I am in his town, and will be able to completely flank him with an 80 gem and completely neuter his ability to play this town at all. So he buys a bunch of panzer infantry and everything to, try and plug the gap, but it is a bit too late. So, yeah, I'm back. Had to take a small little phone call. As you can see, the this push here completely paid off. This BMP2 trading with the Pratt misses sadly, and because I completely flanked him, there is not much he can do except try and pull back with his leopard blob. There is a cluster just going for it. Seed tries to take care of the cheetah can't, and then this the cluster 2 is just gonna drop all right on this bush, and it completely misses because I'm a fucking idiot. That just click on the tank instead of clicking on top of the tank. So the cluster 2 is just gonna drop something where it thinks the tank is gonna go, uh, which is complete stupidity. Not how you should play. This Urkerner isn't in the range to use this shit, and I'm trying to trade with BMP2s and T80s these Leopard 24s. They are damaged. F16 HE. As I said, you smoke and then you push forward, and unless he's like manually gonna guide it right forward, it's gonna miss. This T80, gets stunned, then shows side armor, which is really nice. And then from all the side shots and the angles that I was shooting at his Leopard 24s, they kind of started going down, and he lost the game. So off of that, so GG to Mr. Pasta, and uh, as you can see, the cluster 2 is doing killed 3 of his tanks. So if you don't respect the air power of 79th, especially versus heavy tanks, you will suffer. So that's basically it. That's kind of my attempt of how to stop the 4E YOLO push down down the whole map. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed. We'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.